everybody's making such a big deal about this Stephen A. Smith getting on Colin Kaepernick thing. All that was is a publicity stunt. You got to understand something. The First Take ratings are plummeting right now. Right? They're trying to figure out what they're gonna do. So, and then you combine that with the fact that this Trump selection / Trump election has gotten a lot of the fringe aspect of American society, all the bottom rung aspect of American society who think that they're climbing up, the super liberal aspect of American society. It has them all messed up in the head. So they spazzing out like anybody else who's messed up, who feels frustrated and feels desperate. They're gonna lash out at whatever they can, whatever they feel like is vulnerable. They could take their frustration out on and feel empowered again. You have to understand, through 8 years of Obama, Obama made women and homosexuals feel empowered because he catered to them. He made black women feel empowered because he catered to them. And he made black men feel empowered because he was publicized as being a black man. He never once said anything positive about black men in his 8 years. As a matter of fact, he went out of his way to demonize the black man through his rhetoric. But the black man is at the bottom, so he's grasping at straws. The black man's grasping at straws for relevance. So he still looked at Obama for inspiration. But everybody talking about this Stephen A. Smith stuff. Stephen A. Smith, people call him a coon. I wouldn't even call Stephen A. Smith a coon because I think that word is overused. A lot of internet revolutionaries like to use that word. Stephen A. Smith he's a super capitalist. He's gonna go wherever the money goes. He's like a super sellout. I mean, if you want to use the word coon and apply it to a super sellout, you can do that. But I wouldn't call him a coon. To me, a coon is a coon are these dudes that stand out on the corner smoking weed all day and joining gangs and terrorizing their own communities and having a bunch of children that they're not taking care of, and women out here with crazy weaves sewn into their head and blue contacts and having sex with 5 million men and leaving their children at home by themselves. Those are coons. All right. The word coon comes from the word raccoon. Or, if you study a raccoon eats out of garbage cans. A raccoon is a scavenger. A raccoon is filled with disease. All right. That's why the white man tried to use that term for blacks. A raccoon sneaks around at night. A raccoon is known for being cunning and tricky and not having any substance, right? But being relatively intelligent, not using his full potential per se in the animal kingdom. That's where the term coon comes from, and that's why it's applied to the so-called black man. But this nigga here, Stephen A. Smith, he's an old Mason, Omega sci-fi, bisexual, allegedly, right? But understand something. All those Omega sci-fi dudes, they all go both ways. They all walk around. They have a ritual where they run around with their pants hanging off their backside. They have their buttocks exposed, and they all grease up their buttocks and slap each other on the butt and all that. And that's on YouTube. The Omega sci-fi, that's a black fraternity. They all a bunch of homos, allegedly. Right? But let's see how they're attacking Kaepernick now, because remember, they need somebody to blame because Trump won. And that's pushing the news cycle. So all the super feminist women, the homosexuals, and the blacks who are going to put all their hopes in a white woman like Hillary Clinton, they're all frustrated now. So they got to blame Kaepernick, who did the right thing. He abstained. He didn't vote. Right? But let's see what they say.
Did Colin Kaepernick betray his stance? Yes, he did betray his stance. I honestly do not feel that he should have just sat there and did nothing. There is no way you can get change in this country without having the power in the government to do so.
If he believes that right that people died for, to not only have the right to vote, but to be free thinkers, doesn't he have that right to determine who deserves his vote?
You didn't exercise your 15th Amendment. You didn't even honor the ones that fought for the right for you. Instead, you didn't vote at all? That is disheartening, that is disappointing, and quite frankly, embarrassing.
Black woman, you're embarrassing. You embarrass your race of people every day with your stupidity. First off, that idiot, she doesn't even know, like most black people, they don't even know what the hell most of these amendments actually meant and what they were applied to. She's just talking out of her ass like most black women do, and like most of our people do. Period. Even the first dude, did he betray his stance? You don't even know what Colin Kaepernick's stance was. His stance was against the injustice in America. Me personally, I think that it's a simple-minded stance because it's never going to go away. You understand? The black man has plugged himself spiritually into America. So even him kneeling before the flag, to me, that's an act of subservience to the flag. That, you kneel before a deity. You kneel before an entity that you worship. You don't kneel before a flag. All right. So they sent in that Marine to trick Kaepernick, and it worked because he's simple. He's following behind his woman. But the way that these silly Negroes are trying to break it down, they're so stupid. Right? You don't have to vote for somebody, but the black man and the black woman's mind is so plugged into America. That's what, they totally lost in the sauce, man. Tens of millions of people abstain from voting every year. The demographic with the lowest voting turnout are the Asians because they have the strongest culture on the planet Earth. The Asians have the strongest culture on the planet Earth. And that reverberates over into their economic success in America. The Asians have a strong economic base because they have a strong culture. They don't care about voting. The reason why blacks care so much about voting is because they're looking for a white savior. All right. So when the first dude said there's never been a change in America without having people in the government, that's a lie. Nothing has changed for the black man in America. The source of the civil rights movement, a lot of these other movements were white socialists who came into America in the 40s and 50s, and they wanted to use blacks to destabilize the American system. That's why Hoover was investigating Martin Luther King and these different people for being communists. And you can look that up. All right, they were communists. But that's neither here nor there. Let's see what else this fool gonna say.
I like that one at the end, by not honoring the ones that fought for you. Thoughts, guys?
Of course you like that one at the end because it was a woman talking, right? Molly Karam is another digmatized woman. She's with Jalen Rose. She's digmatized by the black rod. So all of a sudden, she thinks she could tell a black man how to think. But whatever.
People feel strongly about it. I thought the lady at the end was good. I thought the lady at the end was very, very, very good. She was passionate. She felt strongly about it. It's just that this is one of those days where, you look at the things that people have to say, and Colin Kaepernick's got us all in a sour mood with his hypocrisy and selfishness as far as I'm concerned.
No. Trump got you in a sour mood because he won. And this nigga probably voted for Trump, Stephen A. Smith. He probably voted for Trump. But once again, it's a news cycle. So they need somebody to blame. They need somebody to keep the whole Trump thing going. See, ESPN, the reason why ESPN is going down the tubes is because Disney is using them as a portal for social engineering. Disney has them talking about feminism and homosexual rights and transgender rights every day. So now their ratings are tanking because people are getting tired of being told about transgenders and gays and women's rights every day. People just want to watch ESPN to see the highlights. But they got these shills and these robots on here like Stephen A. Smith and these other clowns, and their ratings are dipping because of that.
But I'll look at those videos again and give you a more enlightened, more enthusiastic opinion.
I like that she said it's embarrassing. I like that word.
Incidentally, because...
Yeah, because you're qualified as an Arabic woman to tell a black man what he should be embarrassed about, right? Once again, she's upset because Colin Kaepernick didn't vote to put that white woman in office, the same white woman who deleted 35,000 emails allegedly and was making all type of deals as Secretary of State with world leaders to line her pockets with billions of dollars, right? And went down there and to Haiti and presided over the destruction of Haiti and the mass rape and child pedophile ring of thousands, if not millions, of Haitian children, because Colin Kaepernick was supposed to pick one of two white saviors, and now they mad about that.
Because we both went hard at Kaepernick today, I think we should extend, obviously, an open-ended invitation on this subject for Kaepernick to join the foe.
Up. You see, that's what it was really about. Once again, their ratings are going down. So they going hard at Kaepernick because they want to invite him on the show. You understand? And notice he didn't say show, he said foe. Look at.
Enthusiastic opinion.
I like that she
moving
said it's
forward.
embarrassing.
Yeah, and
I like that word.
incidentally, because we both went hard at Kaepernick today, I think we should extend, obviously, an open-ended invitation on this subject for Kaepernick to join the join the show.
Here. Yep.
The devil speaks with a forked tongue. Right? See, he's embarrassed right now because his heart spoke for a second. Right? Because he is the foe of the so-called black man. And Colin Kaepernick, even though I believe that his stance is a half measure, I believe that it's based out of his over exaltation of his woman. I think his woman is guiding him down a certain path. Hopefully, for Kaepernick's sake, he's starting to see the light and he's going to come out, and it's going to end up being a good thing because he'll be able to see things in their proper perspective, in their totality. Sometimes people can mislead you, but through that misdirection, it can lead you to the truth. All right. This dude here is an example of a prime super liberal white who thinks that they have the right to tell the black man what's best for him. Right? The super liberal white is like somebody who pats you on the back, but they have poison on their hands. Right? So they rub that poison into you, but you think that they're trying to comfort you. Right? As soon as you reject any of their ideologies, they're going to say that you are an idiot. Right? They're going to curse you out worse than the most racist so-called Klans member. Right? You're an idiot. You're dumb. You're a monkey. You're this. You're that. That's why you're in this condition. That's this guy. But anyway.
And Freudian slip, I guess. And
yeah, I guess it was. See, he admitted it's a Freudian slip. What's a Freudian slip? It's when your conscious mind is halted and your subconscious mind speaks. So in other words, he spoke how he really felt. He said the foe, the enemy, the adversary.
And defend himself and explain himself and talk about it.
Of course, always welcome. We would love that. Continue the dialogue.
Yeah, continue the dialogue so your ratings can go up because your ratings are tanking.
Meanwhile, Dwayne Wade not having much dialogue. Let me explain. He was the face of...
But anyway, enough with D Wade. I don't need to hear about this dude. He's another so-called Mason. Sacrifices his cousin allegedly. But it's so ridiculous with these TV shows. You could tell the frustration that a lot of these people are that they either have or that they're being paid to act like they have. Because a lot of these people voted for Trump. Don't get it twisted. They get on TV and talk all that nonsense. But when it was time to go to the ballot, believe me, they voted for Trump. All right. Especially Stephen A. Smith, who's on record once again as saying that blacks should vote Republican at least for one election. And this is a guy who worships money. Stephen A. Smith does. That's why you had guys like Shaq came out and said that he's voting for Trump. Why is that? Because they worship their money. Right. So all this stuff, man, you got to understand something. The only salvation that you have as a so-called race of people, that's any race, whether it be the so-called black man or whoever, is through cultural affinity. When you have a weak culture, you have a weak race of people. Period. It has nothing to do with voting. It has nothing to do with the government. The government's job is to protect the borders. That's it. All this other stuff that the government's been doing the last 100+ years is a overstepping of boundaries, and it's just a clue that the people here are property. They're not viewed as human beings. All right. So Stephen A. Smith, a lot of these people, they're just here for a check, and they don't care who they step on or step over. Anyway, peace.